More than 40 million people, including us here in SoCal, rely on the Colorado River.
And with more people than ever using it and the river drying up, the federal government has mandated that states use less of that water. Right now, they have until 2026 to figure out a permanent solution.
That's the question on the table, is whose ox gets gored? Who is going to take the burden of cutbacks?
Well, for now, California, Arizona, and Nevada have agreed to a temporary solution, taking voluntary cuts to keep the river at a stable level until 2026.
The Biden administration has also dedicated $15.4 billion to help reduce water demand. California takes the lion's share of all that water, with most of it going to growers.
In her Troubled Waters Colorado River Crisis series, morning anchor Angela Chin explores the impact of water cutbacks on the Coachella Valley.
She shows us how cuts could also impact what you buy at the market in part 3, On the Table.
The secret to a good Cajun jambalaya is in what they call the Holy Trinity.
Onions, celery, and bell pepper. Forget about it.
These vegetables sauteed together become an aromatic delight. Diced, spiced, simmered for hours to create a bold, savory jambalaya.
Next to impossible to make this dish without these wonderful aromatic vegetables.
And many of the sweet bell peppers, the tart onions, crisp celery we put through fire to make culinary magic come from the wet farms just down the 10 freeway in Coachella.
Production from this valley is really feeding North America.
Bell peppers, carrots, broccoli, whatever the crunch, they've got it. John Powell owns Peter Rabbit Farms, which is among several dozen farms in the East Valley that use Colorado River water to irrigate their crops. That water traveling a remarkable way to California from La Poudre Pass Lake in Colorado, where our team hiked miles.
Okay, now we're actually hiking.
In rugged, untouched nature to see the quiet origins fueling the lifeblood of the American Southwest. That water flows to California by gravity and into Coachella via the 223-mile All-American Canal.
The Colorado River is everything. The amount of economic activity in this valley would be very, very small if we didn't have the Colorado River.
A whopping 80% of the water taken from the Colorado River is used for farms to grow the food we eat. There are 7 states, 30 tribes, plus Mexico that use the river water, and of the 7, California uses the most at 4.4 million acre-feet out of the 16.5 total. That's about 26%.
As a farmer, we pretty much rely on the Coachella Valley Water District to maintain those rights. They're constantly under attack by whoever else wants water outside the Coachella Valley.
That's why we're the biggest target. And when it comes to conservation, obviously the other users look to the big user to conserve more. And so that's hence the pressure on California.
California has done just that in a recent agreement with Arizona and Nevada, together planning to conserve 3 million acre-feet until 2026. In exchange, the states will get $1.2 billion for not using their full allotment of water, with a lot of that money given to farmers to become more water efficient, like using drip lines instead of sprinklers. It's something Coachella Valley farmers are already doing.
You don't really see any water because these beds have a drip tape that runs right down the middle, and it's in between all the roots of these plants.
California is willingly taking the punch for now, making about half of the cuts, which means farmers will need to fallow land, that is, not plant anything.
Less farming equals less crops, and I suspect you'll see different crops affected differently because the economics, all farmers are in business to make a profit. And so they will choose the crops that render the least amount of profit, and they'll choose not to grow those crops.
What does that look like for supermarkets and what people will be able to eat?
Well, I think there will be some effect on land available to produce winter vegetables.
Those would be your salads, lettuce, romaine spinach, as well as other veggies like cauliflower. Mandatory water cutbacks likely mean the prices of your vegetables will go up. Policymakers have until 2026 to come up with a permanent solution, but it's murky at the moment. Negotiations have barely started, and it's clear every state will be on the defensive. In Coachella, Angela Chen, News Channel 3.
Now, for now, because of the recent rain and abundant snowpack from this past year, the federal government has accepted these voluntary cuts.
Officials say the conservation efforts are enough to keep the river levels stable until 2026. But critics say giving farmers federal money every year to not farm is not a sustainable effort, and that there needs to be an alternative plan.
And this series was supported by the Water Desk, an independent journalism initiative based at the University of Colorado Boulder's Center for Environmental Journalism.